Welcome everyone, Costin here with the discussion about the Retribution Paladin for World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic, specifically to talk about seal swapping, what it is, how it works in the TBC beta, and why it's going to be pretty important for Retribution Paladins, especially during boss fights. Not so much during trash, but during boss fights, I would say it's going to be pretty essential to have a swing timer and to do seal swapping. So here I am on the TBC beta on my character. Now my character is Retribution spec, but it really doesn't have the gear for Retribution. I've just gone with pieces that have hit so I can get as much hit as I possibly can, but even then that's not quite enough, especially because I lack weapon skill. I've been playing Prot, not Ret. Anyway, so what is seal swapping? Well, for that, to understand what seal swapping is to understand how spell batching used to work on retail, during vanilla, during TBC, and even during classic. When you swapped from one seal to another, there was a limited window where you would have both seals activated at the same time, or the game will register as you having both seals activated at the same time. So let's say you moved from Seal of Righteousness to Command, you would have both of them, you would get the benefit of both of them at the same time, which meant you could get a significant damage increase. And it wasn't just damage, you could also use Seal of Light, you could use Seal of Wisdom for extra mana, for extra health. You could use both of them. Now, it's important to understand this is very mana intensive, swapping between seals like this. Extremely mana intensive to do it, but it is a significant benefit to your personal DPS. A very, very high benefit to your personal DPS if done properly. Now, what they've changed recently on the classic PDR and obviously for the TBC beta is they've pretty much removed spell batching, which allowed this kind of behavior, or they've minimized it to the point that it wouldn't work. And instead, they've given a window, a limited window for Retribution Paladins to keep two seals active at the same time. So for instance, here on the TBC beta, if I swap from Seal of Righteousness to Seal of Command, you can see, courtesy of LVI, that the seal I'm swapping from is staying active for a very short period of time. 0.5 seconds, pretty much. That's how it is. This, however, on the beta so far does not apply to Seal of Blood. So if I have Seal of Blood active and I swap to anything else, it instantly goes away. Same with Seal of Vengeance. So I have Seal of Vengeance active, I swap to Righteousness, it instantly goes away. Now my thinking on this is either this is intended by Blizzard, so you can't seal swap from Blood into something else or Seal of Vengeance into something else, or more likely, from my point of view, it's a bug or something they ignored because they introduced the change on the PTR. They kept it in the beta, but they haven't added the new seals that get added into TBC on the list. So you don't have Seal of Blood or Seal of Vengeance yet affected by the delay that they introduced on the classic PR. That's my personal thinking on this issue. And I think that they obviously should add these seals. But if they don't add these seals, then you can't do something called two-way seal swapping, where you can swap from Seal of Righteousness into Blood. That works. But you can't swap from Seal of Blood into Righteousness and maintain the effect of both. That's something you can't do. You can only do one-way seal swapping, which is Righteousness or Command into Blood. And Blood is very important because Blood does damage to yourself as a player, and mana is very much a significant issue for any Paladin. But how does it actually look? Like if I attack this target at me and I swap to Seal of Blood, you can see there that I'm getting the effect of both these seals at the same time. So I'm doing a lot more damage to our target as a result of it. So I'm doing 172 damage there because of Seal of Righteousness, 176 damage because of Seal of Blood. But that's not all. Right? It's not just like, oh, I gain the benefit of two seals at the same time. How about three seals at the same time? How about we use Command and its unique properties? Command has an animation when it procs. Has a special animation. And because of that animation, I believe that it's when you seal swap to another seal, it's counting that proc as its own special attack. So I'm going to attack this target. And hopefully I get the 2 actually proc. And there. Although obviously one of them was a parry, I did actually get free attacks, right? I can manage free attacks, but let's try again until. Nope. That's the annoying thing about Seal of Command and why it's called the Seal of the Casino. Because it does feel like a casino playing with this seal. And also because my weapon skill is not the best in the world. Yeah, that creates more issues. I'm just gonna get an attack. Well, at least I'm getting those attacks. But anyway, one got dodged, but you can get those free attacks at the same time on the target. But that's the kind of a bit of the limitation. Each of those attacks can be parried. Each of those attacks can be dodged, missed. Not so much of a problem because obviously you will have the hit cap pretty easily. But you can, because of the unique properties of Seal, not just get 2 Seal effects at the same time, you can get 3. So you can get 2 Seal of Blood procs, or 2 Seal of Righteousness procs, or Seal of Wisdom, or Seal of Light, as well as the command proc itself. So you can do triple Seal damage that you normally would, due to that particular behavior. Unless I get parries, because it's kind of odd with the target dummies being what they are here on the beta. Well, in that case, it's 2 misses. Wonderful. But yeah, that's kind of how it works. You can swap from one seal to another. As long as you're not swapping from Seal of Blood or Seal of Vengeance into another seal, you can get the effect of 2 seals at the same time, and because of command you can get 3 procs at the same time, which gives you a significant DPS boost. Now this is annoying to do unless, you know, on fights where you're having to move a lot, and it can be difficult to pull off the rotation, especially when you've got other things to worry about, right? Because you're not just gonna like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna seal swap. No, you want to do Crusader Strike. And managing that timing of all of these things can be pretty tricky. And you want to do Crusader Strike because the main reason that the raid will bring a Retribution Paladin is due to Seal of Wisdom. People have asked me, what role does a Retribution Paladin play in a raid? Probably not so much for speedrunning, though I think, and this is my view, that trash in TBC is not going to be as much of an issue as the bosses will be. Like, you may actually spend quite a bit of time on the bosses, so boss DPS will probably be more important. And obviously for normal guilds, boss DPS certainly, bosses are certainly where they're going to spend quite a bit of time. And on bosses for a 25-man raid, Seal of Wisdom or Judgment of Wisdom is very significant. I've talked in other videos on how Hunters are some of the best DPSers in TBC, right? But Hunters are only the best DPSers if you have a raid to support them, if you have the physical debuffs, if you have the physical buffs, group-wise, raid-wise. And Judgment of Wisdom is a significant DPS increase for them. Hunters do have mana issues. And Aspect of the Viper, you don't usually want to use Aspect of the Viper if you're trying to min-max your damage as a hunter to begin with, right? You don't want to do that. And so Judgment of Wisdom is quite crucial for them to maximize the damage. That's one of the main reasons people bring a Retribution Paladin in the raid. But there's always a catch with a DPSer that's being brought in a support role. And that catch is you want them to be able to do a certain amount of damage to justify their role in raid. With seal swapping, Retribution Paladin can justify their role in a raid because you can do a pretty decent amount of damage with it. If Blizzard does allow two-way seal swapping, maybe even higher, though personally I think like when it comes to two-way seal swapping, you don't just want to swap between two seals constantly. You don't just want to do like something like this where you're hitting a target, then swapping into command, and then swapping into righteousness, hoping to get proc every single melee swing. You don't want to do that because your mana will drop instantly. What you want to do, ideally, is something more along these lines. After I get... I'll just use a mana potion. So you use command, right? You get the proc there. And then you keep Seal of Blood for a bit until you get a judge. And then you swap to Seal of Blood. Like, you swap from command to blood, you keep blood until you can judge, you put command up if the timing is right for it, and then you swap to Seal of Blood. That's a better way and far more mana efficient way of doing it. If you're just constantly swapping willy-nilly, you will not have GCDs for anything else, pretty much. You will struggle to even do like Crusader strikes on times, Exorcism, all that kind of stuff, let alone being able to do, say, cleanses on people in your raid, freedoms on people in your raid, like using freedom on the tanks on Lady Vash, for instance, doing Blessing of Protections. You will be far more limited in that. I guess having the ability to do it would be nice in those situations where you do have the global cooldowns. Certainly give you more flexibility as a player, but I don't think it's too important. But I also think it's kind of silly to not have it in, to not have seal swapping for Seal of Blood or Seal of Vengeance, or to not be able to swap from Seal of Blood or Seal of Vengeance into something else and maintain the effect of two seals. But anyway, Questine here signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications, and stay tuned for more.